So now let's move forward and let's look at his birthday, because it said he died 10 days after his birthday. Well, let's shed light on that, shall we? Again, at the top it says Rosie, the wrestler. Of course, like I said, his government name is Matthew. I'm not going to attempt the middle name, but it's the last name, of course, is Anawai. And look at his birthday. April 7th, 1970 to April 17th, 2017, right? What's interesting is the day he was born. Okay? The day he was born. He was born on April 7th. April 7th, mind you. Why is that important? Let me ask y'all something. When did Wrestlemania take place this year? I told you it's a 2-night event, right? April 6th and April 7th. Correct? As we clearly see right here. Okay, in this promotional poster for WrestleMania. Okay? April 7th was really the big main event, which was Cody Rhodes versus Roman Reigns, in which Roman Reigns had to drop his title to Cody Rhodes on April 7th, which is the birthday of his deceased brother. Now, is that just a coincidence? Am I reaching? Is that just a coincidence? No, that's not by happenstance, okay? And the fact that if any of you actually watched WrestleMania, especially if you watched it live, nobody really said a mumbling word about his deceased brother, and that really being his birthday, and Roman Reigns defending his title on his deceased brother's birthday. You would think that that would have been a bigger topic. Okay, but I think that would have been a little too obvious. That's why they kind of kept it under wraps. Okay? So now, having said that, this leads me to a post that Roman Reigns posted on Instagram the day after WrestleMania, which, of course, was the day of the eclipse. Okay, let's take a look at that clip, or that particular post from Instagram. Okay? So this is the actual post from Instagram, okay? And, of course, it was a video, but, of course, I took a screenshot, okay? So now, this is the post. Now, what we're going to do is we're going to zoom in to the comments here, or we're going to zoom into what he said under the quote-unquote video here. Okay, let's take a look. So we've now zoomed in on the quote under the video, and he said, "Yesterday we mourned," putting emphasis on the word we. He got that in capital letters, right? So he said, "Yesterday we mourned." Then he says, "Today is day one." Okay, so it's a couple of things here. That day one, he's putting emphasis on today is day one. Of course, that today, day one, was the day of the eclipse, right? Now, when he said yesterday we mourned, that was the day of the main event of WrestleMania, which was April 7th, which was the birthday of his deceased brother. Now, when he said yesterday we mourned, it's levels to that, okay? On a surface level, of course, he's saying we mourned because, him and, of course, Roman Reigns fans, which I'm one of them, actually mourned because he finally lost his belt, his title run. Okay, it was a long title run. That's on the surface level, the mourning. But he said yesterday we mourned because I believe he was remembering his deceased brother. Okay, I believe that was the undertone of this particular post. Okay, it wasn't just about his belt. Okay, it was also about his deceased brother, Matthew Anawai. Okay, that's just me. Okay, it's just simply my critique. I could be wrong. Okay, but that's my critique. So speaking of mourning, there are two very important and curious figures that actually died this year in 2024, Kobe year, that I believe are two other pieces to this puzzle, this Kobe year puzzle, if you will. Okay, so we're going to look at the first figure, which, of course, is Mr. Carl Weathers, a.k.a. Apollo Creed. Okay, let's get some information on Carl Weathers, a.k.a. Apollo Creed. Okay, so here's some information about Mr. Carl Weathers. Okay, and of course, it says he was born January 14th, 1948 in New Orleans, Louisiana. But here's the key. He died February 1st, 2024, which is this year. Now, would you look at this? He died at the age of 76 years old in Los Angeles, California. Now, why is this important? Okay. Him dying this year, Kobe year, at the age of 76 years old. Didn't I tell you I like to bring things full circle? How do we start this whole video off? We did a little briefing on the helicopter crash. What kind of helicopter was that? It was a Sikorsky S-76B helicopter, correct? 76, right? Now that number 76, as we already know, represents the Capricorn, the goat, Pan, Saturn, if you will. But that number 76 is heavily tied to the city of Philadelphia, right? The Philadelphia 76ers. So that number 76 is heavily tied to the city of Philadelphia, in which Kobe Bryant is from Philadelphia, right? And the team that he ended up playing for in the NBA his whole career was the Los Angeles Lakers. And it just so happens that Mr. Weathers died in Los Angeles, California. You see the connection between Philadelphia and Los Angeles the same way that there's a connection between Kobe, Philadelphia, and Los Angeles? You can't make this up. Okay? But this is the first figure we're going to deal with. And we're going to come back to Mr. Carl Weathers, but we're going to come back to the character that he played in the movie Rocky. Okay, but we're going to put this on pause just for a quick minute. And let's go to our next person that we're going to deal with, which, of course, is Mr. O.J. Simpson. So this is an article from the New York Post. And this is very telling. Okay, but we're gonna read the article first, then we're going to talk a little bit about it. It says, football star, actor, murderer, liar, O.J. Simpson, 76. Then it says, real killer is dead. Now, let me say this. This is coming from a professional newspaper company, the New York Post. This is very unprofessional, and this is actually defamation of character, because this man, O.J. Simpson, was acquitted. He was found innocent in the court of law. And they're saying that he's actually the killer. They're still accusing him of being a murderer. This is defamation of character if you really think about it. Okay? But this just goes to show you how a so-called black man is still viewed in this country. Okay, but this was just very, very alarming. Okay, this is definitely defamation of character. Okay, but let's point something out here. Okay, this is O.J. Simpson. Now that name, O.J. Okay, that name O.J. is, when you think about it, when you think about O.J., what is it usually tied to? Orange juice. Okay, OJ, orange juice. Now we know the word or the color orange is tied to the number 33, which represents enlightenment and sacrifice. Okay, so let's actually get a little bit more information on Mr. O.J. Simpson. Let's look at something here. All right. So here's some more information about Mr. O.J. Simpson. Okay. And it reads, says he was born July 9th, 1947 in San Francisco, California. Right. So it says he died April 10th, 2024, Kobe year, at the age of, you guessed it, 76 in Las Vegas, Nevada, right? But let's look at the date that he died. He died April 10th, 2024, meaning he died the same week of the eclipse, okay, and Wrestlemania, okay? Wrestlemania was that Sunday, and technically Sunday is the first day of the week, according to this Gregorian calendar, right? But you have to understand something. They on the left-hand side, they are big on astrology and dealing with the sun, the moon, and the stars and everything like that. You have to understand, and this is just my critique, I could be wrong, but something as big as that quote-unquote eclipse that happened last Monday, there had to be a sacrifice that either happened on the day of the eclipse or somewhere around the time of that eclipse. And I believe, and it's just my critique, I could be wrong, but I believe O.J. Simpson was the guy who was the perfect sacrifice. Mr. O.J., of course, orange juice, orange or 33, Simpson, it just lined up too perfectly. He was written in this particular script. Not to mention, he was 76 years old. Still, again, somehow tied to the city of Philadelphia. And we already know 76, it represents the goat. Okay? But that 76, just like Mr. Carl Weathers, was 76 years old when he died this year. Okay, all of this, again, this is Kobe year. Okay, and this is, both of these gentlemen, their deaths somehow leads back and is tied into this Kobe Bryant script. Okay? But now, let's look at something else here, because we're not done with Mr. O.J. Simpson. Okay? Let's go down to the category of spouse. Okay, what does it say about his spouse? Right? Now, let's look at the first lady that's mentioned here under the category of spouse. Her name is Nicole Brown Simpson, right? And this is actually the lady that O.J. Simpson was accused of murdering. Okay, it was her, right? And let's mention that, first of all, the place that she was murdered was in Los Angeles, California. That's number one. Okay. You can go and fact check that on your own time. Okay. But here's the kicker. Here's the point. Look at the year they were married. Okay. They were married in 1985. And of course, divorced in 1992. Meaning what? They were married for 7 years. 7 years, mind you. Didn't I tell you that number was important? When we looked at the jersey of one of the Uso twins, he was number 52. And I told you 5 plus 2 is 7. That's heavily tied into this script. Because even when dealing with Kobe and his daughter Gigi, that number 7 was heavily tied to his daughter. Because again, the letter G is the 7th letter in the alphabet. Okay, I touched on this when I did the 5-part series. Bad Boys for Life, Mamba for Life. Okay? But that number 7 is very important too. But the year that they married was 1985. Why is this important? And how does this tie into this whole script? Okay? Let's move forward. Now we're going to get to the character. And we're going to go back and get to the character of Mr. Carl Weathers. The character he played was Mr. Apollo Creed. Okay, let's take a look at this. So here's some information about the character Apollo Creed. And look at the death date. Apollo Creed died August 31st, 1985. What year did Mr. O.J. Simpson marry the lady that he was accused of murdering? 1985. You see, you got to understand, these people in Hollywood, this is like a real life Truman Show. They're characters playing characters. Okay, in this big script that they're all really tied into. Okay, but this character, Apollo Creed, died in 1985, the same year O.J. Simpson married the woman he was accused of murdering. Okay, and the character of Apollo Creed made his first appearance, I believe, in the first Rocky movie, which came out, look at the bottom there, look at the bottom of the screen, in 1976. I believe that's another checkmate. Am I reaching, or is that a checkmate? Okay. He made his appearance in the first Rocky, which came out in 1976. And it just so happens that even when dealing with this character, Apollo Creed, and you deal with the movie Rocky, it took place in what city? Philadelphia. Am I right or am I wrong? I told you that number 76 is heavily tied to the city of Philadelphia. Okay? Then fast forward to Kobe year 2024. Both the gentleman that played Apollo Creed, Carl Weathers, and O.J. Simpson both die at the age of 76. You can't make this up. One of which, O.J. Simpson, died the same week of the eclipse. You can't make this up. All of the, again, this is Kobe year. Okay? And in the same way, WrestleMania is tied into this too. It's an element of WrestleMania that's tied into this Kobe script. I told you, this is really the year 2020 2.0. Okay? Still centered around Kobe. And let me bring to your remembrance as well. We're looking right here at the character that Carl Weathers played, Apollo Creed. Died Kobe year, 2024. The man, Carl Weathers, who played Apollo Creed, died in 2024. Right? I told you I like to bring things full circle, did I not? What did I say in the beginning of this video? Did I or did I not say that Kobe Bryant, the man Kobe Bryant, played the character of the pagan god Apollo? Did I not say that? He played the role of Apollo because when you look at the so-called god Apollo, he was known to be the god of pestilence. That's why when Kobe died, the pestilence known as Corona was released that year, 2020. You see how I told you, just simply be patient with me. I bring things full circle. Okay? Oh, and allow me to say again, checkmate. Okay? But now that we've gotten that out the way, this again leads us to Mr. Roman Reigns. Now, we already looked at a bit of personal information about Mr. Roman Reigns, but maybe some of you forgot, or I didn't put as much emphasis on this when we were looking at that slide. Allow me to go back to that slide and point something out. Okay, let's take a look at this. Okay, because in case you missed it, Mr. Roman Reigns, his birthday, okay, the year that he was born was in 1985. Okay, and what's even crazier, not just him, but both the Uso twins were also born in 1985. You can go fact check me on that. Okay, but yeah, he was born in 1985, which of course is the same year that the character of Apollo Creed died, which is the same year that Mr. O.J. Simpson married the lady that he was accused of murdering in 1985. All of it connected. And all of it leads up to this year, Kobe year, 2024. Both of those gentlemen, Carl Weathers and O.J. Simpson, died this year, Kobe year, at 76 years old. The number 76 tied to the city of Philadelphia, which is where Kobe Bryant is from. The same city, Philadelphia, where this year Wrestlemania was held at, in the city of Philadelphia. Checkmate. Now, very quickly, since we have this promotional poster up, okay, let's very briefly talk about Dwayne "The Rock" Johnson, okay, and the small role that he played in this, okay. Now, of course, they brought him back for this WrestleMania, okay, and of course, they had him turn heel. Now, for those of you who don't know, the word heel is basically a wrestling term for someone that's basically playing the bad guy in the wrestling world, in the WWE, okay? So they had him turn heel. He's playing this role where he calls himself the final boss and things of this nature. But, yeah, he's basically playing almost like a resurrection role. Now, why do I say that? Okay? When you look at The Rock, the last official WWE match he had, the last official match he had was in the year 2016. Okay? That year 2016 just so happened to be the same year that Kobe Bryant retired. What are the odds? The Rock had his last official match in the WWE in 2016 the same year that Kobe Bryant retired. That's why I said The Rock is really, he's tied into this script too. Okay, and he's kind of playing a resurrection role. Okay, again, that's why I said the number 17 is actually tied into this script too, representing death and resurrection. Okay, but since we had this promotional poster up, I thought, it was the appropriate time to actually speak on The Rock, just for a brief moment. Okay, but yeah, you can fact check me on it, but I believe his last official match was in 2016. Okay, and that's the same year that Kobe Bryant retired. Okay, but as we see on this promotional poster, of course, WrestleMania was a 2-day event. Okay, April 6th and 7th. Okay, now let's deal with that number 7. Okay, I said that number 7 was very important. So let's deal with it. Okay, I'm going to bring back a bit of information that I pulled out during the video series I did, Bad Boys for Life, Mamba for Life. Okay, let's look at that bit of information dealing with the number 7 here. Okay, so here it is, of course, and let's zoom in a bit so we can see it a bit clearer here. All right, so now we've zoomed in, and let's read the information. It says G, sometimes used in the Freemasonry square and compass logo. It says it's 7 in numerology and the 7th letter of the alphabet. Remember, I said that earlier, right? It says G is generally believed to stand for gnosis. It says 7 are the chakras in the Kabbalah and in Hinduism and Buddhism. It says Kabbalah is the foundation of the esoteric knowledge taught in Freemasonry. It says, therefore, it could be that G equals 7, and 7 equals crown, the highest chakra, or known as the crown chakra. Now, that word crown, that sounds familiar, doesn't it? Didn't we deal with what corona means in the beginning of this video? It meant crown. See, y'all really thought I'd be playing when I say I bring things full circle. Okay, 7 also equals crown. Okay, so now it should make perfect sense why Roman Reigns had to drop his title on April 7th. Because at that point, he had reached the pinnacle. He reached the crown chakra. There was he couldn't go any higher. He reached the top chakra. Okay, the crown chakra, in which he was crowned, remember, the king of the WWE in 2020. Okay, the year of Corona. You see, I told you, all you got to do is just simply be patient with me, and I'll bring everything full circle. Okay? Now, allow me to put a little bit more icing on the cake. Okay, because remember I told you this particular slide I used when I did the 5-part series, Bad Boys for Life, Mamba for Life. Okay? And I told you this was going to be my I told you so moment. Did I not? I said this is going to be my I told you so moment, because I was going to tell you that everything I said in that 5-part series, I wasn't crazy. It's still dealing with Kobe Bryant, that movie, Bad Boys for Life. Now, here comes that icing on the top of the cake. Okay? If I was reaching when I did that 5-part series, then explain to me why this year, Kobe year, again, you have another Bad Boys movie that's coming out this summer. And Kobe year, the same way Bad Boys for Life came out in 2020, 9 days before the death of Kobe Bryant. and everybody that was in the helicopter that day, which was 9 people that died that day. Okay, so this year, 2024, I told you, this is simply 2020 2.0. Okay, Bad Boys Ride or Die is coming out this year. Now, I want to look at the date here that is coming out. Oh, yeah, here comes that icing. Look at the date that this movie is going to come out. June 7th. Count with me. According to this Gregorian calendar, June is what month? June is the 6th month. And this movie is coming out on the 7th day of June. 6-7. Let me ask you something. What days did Wrestlemania take place this year? April 6th and 7th. Am I reaching? Now that number 6-7, that's simply the reverse of 76. Okay. Now again, when you add 6 plus 7, again, that equals what? 13. Kobe Bryant's daughter, Gigi, was 13 years old when she died in that helicopter. Okay? I told you, this is the year 2020 2.0. Okay? All of this is simply predictive not even predictive programming, but it's still centered around Kobe Bryant. Both this movie, WrestleMania 40, dealing with O.J. Simpson, Carl Weathers, everything that I brought out. Again, it's simply tied into Kobe year. Okay? And even this eclipse that happened last week, on Monday last week. Again, what day did that eclipse? What was the date? April the 8th. April the 8th in 2024. 8/24. Those numbers are tied to Kobe. Okay? Kobe wore the jersey number 8 in the first part of his career. Then he ended off with wearing the number 24. Did he not? See, everything lined up just perfectly. Okay? Because, again, all of this is centered around Kobe on the left-hand side. Scripted perfectly. And again, might I add, checkmate. Now, let's move forward. And I want to deal with a particular statue that was revealed earlier this year. Okay? Now, it's been reported that there's going to be 3 statues of Kobe Bryant that's going to be basically, I'm guessing, around the Staples Center in Los Angeles, California, I believe. Brothers can correct me if I'm wrong, but, either way, the statue is real, okay? I want to deal with this particular statue here, okay? Now, when you look at this particular pose, okay, that they made a statue out of, this was the game, I believe, that Kobe Bryant scored 81 points. Okay. And of course, 8 plus 1 equals 9. 9 people happened to die in that helicopter, correct? But not to get too far off topic, but that's the pose that they basically made this statue out of, okay? When I believe he was leaving the arena, and he scored 81 points that day. But nevertheless, it's very telling, very interesting, and very telling. It's very curious why they chose this particular pose to make a statue out of, right? Because when you look throughout Kobe Bryant's career, he's had many iconic poses, okay, that they could have made a statue out of. But they chose this one, okay, which is him standing there holding up the number 1, okay? Now, those of you who are wrestling fans, you should already know where I'm going with this and why I said this is very telling. Okay, and how this whole thing, I told you, WrestleMania 40 and Roman Reigns losing, it's all tied in together. Okay, let me ask you something. What is one of the poses or, mottos that Roman Reigns, mainly Roman Reigns, but of course the rest of the bloodline, that they're known for? Okay, it's this right here. They'll stand there and they'll throw up the number one. And the motto is, "We the ones," right? Okay. This looks awfully familiar. It almost looks damn near identical to the statue of Kobe Bryant, does it not? And it just so happens that Mr. Roman Reigns has to drop his title this year, Kobe year, right before the eclipse on April 7th. Now, is this a correlation? Is your brother Kaniba reaching? Who knows? But I'll let you all decide. Okay? But anyway, this is going to be the end of part 2 of this basically video series titled WWE WrestleMania 40 Kobe year. The spiritual meaning on the left and right hand side. So, I know that was a lot to take in. But again, this WrestleMania was special. Now, on the 2-dimensional level, it was very, very entertaining. One of the best WrestleManias I've seen. But on a 3-dimensional level, this was very esoteric. Okay, and a lot of it was tied to Kobe Bryant, and we put all the pieces to the puzzle together. Okay, so in parts 1 and 2, of course, we dealt with how this ties in on the left-hand side spiritually. So part 3 and possibly part 4, we're going to deal with how this whole WrestleMania ties in on the right-hand side spiritually and biblically. Okay? And which I'm very, very excited about that. So those videos will be coming soon. Okay? So with that, and as always, I want to give all praises, honor, and glory to the Most High Yahweh, which is the name of the Heavenly Father. And I do so by Hashem, which means in the name of Yahweh Shai, which is the name of the only begotten Son of the Heavenly Father, whom the world knows as Jesus Christ. And I want to thank all you brothers and sisters for tuning in. I hope these videos were informative and edifying. And until next time, Shalom, family.